Greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I, of whom we bring this presentation to the world. Rastafari has captured the attention of the world due mainly to the exposure it has received through reggae music. There are some misunderstandings about the tribe because of the stereotypes that have gathered momentum within popular culture. The music, cannabis consumption, dreadlocks, and colorful lingo have been the main associations that many make regarding the culture. Further, disseminated information about Rastafari belief or spiritual practice includes an elementary idea about its adherents' view of the Emperor Haile Selassie I of Ethiopia as a god figure. In this presentation, we're going to talk about the racial component, which is the main driver of Rastafari, with a specific focus on the term Black I-Premacy, what it means, what it doesn't mean, and how it is the foundational creed to the culture. First up, we must pay tribute to Rastafari ones and ones for the influence they have had on us and for the vigilance they maintain in the struggle for truth, rights, and justice. We give honor and respect to Rastafari, for without which we would not be able to make this presentation, nor would we have gained our spiritual energy for life. The term Black I-Premacy or supremacy used by Rastafari is not against European type looking people, but is anti-white. What is the distinction? The distinction has to do with conceptual whiteness, which has proven to be an evil construct of racial hierarchy. Again, the distinction between European type looking people and whiteness has to do with the concept of whiteness, which has proven to be an evil construct of racial hierarchy. The term Black I-Premacy mockingly counters conceptual whiteness, but is not ideologically a counterpart of the false xenophobic concept of whiteness supremacy. It is not black fascism. It has nothing to do with a bias against other skin colors, genotypes, or ethnicities. The assertion of supremacy lay in the basis of the Emperor Haile Selassie I, reigning supreme universally, and the teachings of world morality dispensed from him. I-Premacy is also seen as the essence of the primordial African livity or way of life model, as the original blueprint of human expression and human progress and growth. Can we find the term's usage in any of the Emperor Haile Selassie's sayings? Not in so many words, but in the following quote made by His Majesty, we do find the expression of the idea of Black I-Premacy using synonymous languaging. Quote, "We Africans occupy a different, indeed a unique, position among the nations of this century. Having for so long known oppression, tyranny, and subjugation, who with better right can claim for all the opportunity and the right to live and grow as free men? Ourselves, for so long decades, the victims of injustice, whose voices can be better raised in the demand for justice and right for all? We demand an end to colonialism because domination of one people by another is wrong. We demand an end to nuclear testing and the arms race because these activities, which pose such dreadful threats to man's existence and waste and squander humanity's material heritage, are wrong. We demand an end to racial segregation as an affront to man's dignity, which is wrong. We act in these matters in the right, as a matter of high principle. We act out of the integrity and conviction of our most deep-founded beliefs. if we permit ourselves to be tempted by narrow self-interest and vain ambition, if we barter our beliefs for short-term advantage, who will listen when we claim to speak for conscience? And who will contend that our words deserve to be heeded? We must speak out on major world issues, courageously, openly, and honestly, and in blunt terms of right and wrong. If we yield to blandishments or threats, if we compromise when no honorable compromise is possible, our influence will be sadly diminished, and our prestige woefully prejudiced and weakened. Let us not deny our ideals or sacrifice our right to stand as the champions of the poor, the ignorant, the oppressed everywhere. The acts by which we live and the attitudes by which we act must be clear beyond question. Principles alone can endow our deeds with force and meaning. Let us be true to what we believe, that our beliefs may serve and honor us." Unquote. Take note in this quote of the phrase, champions of the poor. The word champion denotes a supreme position, or the highest heights mode of being, that the emperor portrays as the spiritual essence and calling for African people. To stand supreme for the rights for all by living example. Rastafari is the energy. The highest humanitarian principle is the state of supremacy. Though it sounds lofty, it is not complicated. It's love. The emperor poses the rhetorical questions about the historical experience of African people to state unequivocally that melanated black people, through situation, are the best suited, or in a supreme position, to chant down oppressive systems and stand for all humanity. It does not mean that non-African peoples should just stand aside in the cause of racial justice. It means non-African people can learn about the struggles for liberation and justice from African people, and also become supreme in their part as comrades in the battle against injustice. Still, we know that a term that applies supremacy to color as a human paradigm naturally causes dismay and controversy among different people, as well it should, given the disastrous effect that racial supremacist philosophy has had on humanity. On the other hand, nobody can come try to put Rastafari in some racism box, because fundamentally, Rastafari is supportive towards mutually aligned progress among all nations, races, and creeds. Our statement here is to edify and to dissolve any notion of equating the I-sept of black I-Premacy with the concept, the concept of whiteness supremacy. Though again, as the term supremacy in any anthropological context will likely trigger strong or repulsive feelings, the two are in fact completely opposite of each other. Check out the following quote from the great Guyanese scholar Walter Rodney from the book entitled "The Groundings with My Brothers," talking about the dreadful murderous scheme of the slave master during old slavery days in the Caribbean world. Quote, "Now, we have gone through this circle experience through which by all accounts we should have been wiped out. We have been subject to genocidal practices, millions raped from the African continent, through a system of slavery in the West Indies, which was designed to kill people. The documents are there. White slave masters used to conduct a discussion. They said, 'Look, we have some blacks. What do we do with them? Is it better to let them grow old and work for us for an extended period of time? Or should we let him work for a specified period of time, work him so hard and let him die, and buy a fresh slave? And the consensus of opinion was this: take a prime African black, work him to death in 5 years, and you make a profit. So the system aimed at killing us out. Unquote. Now, in hearing this history, in honest reflection, can there really be any wonder why black people in the diaspora, in the nonviolent, radical model of Rastafari thinking, would develop the concept of black I-Premacy as an antidote and a contesting ideology to that system of murderous tyranny? That the black soul that is Rastafari would dare to propose a superior path, would dare to take an unapologetic stance, uprising in a self-developed course of action to catapult a new generation to its rightful glorious inheritance, would be driven with an unwavering sense of purpose, solidarity, and redemption, standing predominant in a righteous manner of self-love over degradation? Can there be any wonder, any surprise, that a proud black nation called Rastafari would form under the banner of Black I-Premacy Championship? It is an open question to one and all. Take time and reflect quietly, but don't take too long. In your precious time, we say go now and meet the African ancestors in roots reggae music. Take a listen in their presence again to one love. Open your heart to love in blackness. Yes, paint it black. And know that your transplanted heart must be born again for a stronger life. Life for the living. Life for one and all. Life for the planet and for the universes of universes. Truth power.